Hi, this is Asean Now, and you're watching our special year-end program where we highlight some of the region's biggest headlines in 2016. We begin in Indonesia, where a deadly attack by militants occurred in central Jakarta on January 14th. The coordinated bomb and gun attack resulted in 8 deaths, including 4 of the attackers. Another 24 people were also injured. An Indonesian court jailed extremist Saiful Mutawir for 9 years for his role in the deadly attack, which was claimed by the Islamic State group. Still on terrorism, a wave of abductions by the Abu Sayyaf group took place in the Philippines. 2 Canadians, John Ridsdale and Robert Hall, Norwegian Sjartan Sekinstad and Filipino Marites Flor, were captured on September 21, 2015 at a marina near Davao City. Militants beheaded Ridsdale on April 25th, followed by Hall on June 13th, when a ransom demand of about 300 million pesos was not met. On June 24th, the group freed Flor. This was followed by the release of Sekinstad on September 17th. On a disturbing note, Richard Huckle, a British paedophile, committed a string of sex attacks on young children in Malaysia and shared the images on the dark web. He had also reportedly abused a child in Cambodia. Huckle was exposed by the Australian police, who stumbled across his online activity during an investigation on other suspects. The 30-year-old Briton was sentenced to life imprisonment by the London court on June 6th after he pleaded guilty to 71 counts of child sex offences on children aged between 6 months and 12 years. Next, Rodrigo Duterte was sworn in as the Philippines' 16th president on June 30th in a no-frills inauguration. At the same time, the death toll of his violent war on drugs began to rise. Vice President Leni Robredo was sworn in during a separate ceremony the same day. On matters affecting the Philippines' claims of sovereignty, an arbitral tribunal concluded on July 12th that there was no legal basis for China to claim historic rights to resources within the sea areas falling within its 9-dash line, and therefore ruled in favor of the Philippines. The 5-member tribunal also found that none of the features in the Spratly Islands were capable of generating extended maritime zones, and that the islands as a unit were also not capable of generating such zones collectively. Moving on, Indonesia's most wanted Muslim extremist Santoso was killed in a firefight with security forces in Sulawesi on July 18th. His death was a major victory for the Indonesian authorities, who had been pursuing the extremist for 5 years. Santoso's group carried out a string of deadly attacks on domestic security forces and was known for training militants from around the archipelago. Next, on health matters, on August 28th, Singapore announced its first locally transmitted case of the Zika virus in a 47-year-old Malaysian woman, and the number of confirmed cases began to grow. Just 2 days later, Malaysia recorded its first case of a 58-year-old woman contracting the virus after she visited her daughter in Singapore. Zika is prevalent in the region, with Thailand reporting 680 cases this year, Singapore with more than 450, and Vietnam with as many as 60. Malaysia has had at least 6 cases reported as of yet. On sports, ASEAN countries bagged a total of 18 medals at the 2016 Rio Olympics in Brazil from August 5th to 21st. A total of 5 golds, 10 silvers, and 3 bronzes were won. Singaporean swimmer Joseph Schooling won the country's first ever gold medal in the men's 100 meters butterfly by clocking in at 50.39 seconds, defeating US Olympian Michael Phelps. The following month, Malaysia saw their best ever achievement in its Paralympic history by winning 3 gold medals and 1 bronze at the 2016 Rio Paralympics in Brazil. A total of 27 medals were won by Thailand, Indonesia, the Philippines, Singapore, and Vietnam. On regional bilateral relations, Laos hosted the 28th and 29th ASEAN Summits in Vientiane from September 6th to 8th. Regional unity came into question over the issue of the South China Sea, which is claimed by Brunei, Malaysia, the Philippines, and Vietnam, and with members like Laos and Cambodia being seen as pro-China. During his visit, Philippine President Rodrigo Duterte left officials buzzing in the hall when he did not turn up at the 4th ASEAN-US Summit, which was also attended by then US President Barack Obama. In an aviation incident that shocked the world, a Dutch-led Joint Investigation Team, or JIT, concluded in October that MH17 was shot down by a pro-Russian Buk missile, which Russia denied. Australian Foreign Minister Julie Bishop said the names of those responsible for shooting down Malaysia Airlines flight MH17 over Ukraine in 2014 might be confirmed by the end of the year. Moving on to Thailand, the kingdom's revered monarch, King Bhumibol Adulyadej, passed away on October 13th at the age of 88. Condolences poured in from global leaders while Thai communities around the world also mourned the loss of their king. In Malaysia, the Bersih 5 rally on November 19th saw thousands of people clad in yellow converging in Kuala Lumpur and other cities in the country and ended without any incident. Bersih is a coalition of NGOs pushing for a thorough reform of the election process in Malaysia. Thousands also attended a counter-rally which was held on the same day by a group called the Red Shirts. Global Bersih claimed that 65 cities around the world also took part in Bersih 5. Across to Myanmar, the country's opposition leader Aung San Suu Kyi was condemned on her silence over the oppression of Rohingyas under the country's regime. Some have also called for Suu Kyi to be stripped of a Nobel Peace Prize. A large population of Rohingya Muslims live in Myanmar's Rakhine state. Over in Thailand, the country proclaimed Crown Prince Mahawachira Longkorn as the 10th king of the Chakri dynasty on December 1st. He succeeded King Bhumibol Adulyadej, who passed away on October 13th. Moving back to Indonesia, a 6.5 magnitude earthquake struck Aceh province on December 7th, claiming the lives of over 100 people, leaving over 700 people injured and nearly 84,000 people homeless. President Joko Widodo, who visited the province a few weeks ago, pledged to rebuild the area's devastated communities. And lastly, here's a developing story in Indonesia. Jakarta's Governor Basuki Cahayapurnama, popularly known as Ahok, said he had not intended any insult when he commented on an opponent's use of the Quran in political campaigning during his blasphemy trial on December 13th. His trial will resume on December 20th. If found guilty, he faces up to 5 years in prison. And that wraps up our show. Thanks for watching. I'm Daniel Bakri, and have a Happy New Year.